So most times I get asked by newbies coming into the tech world for the first time, and they pick up interest in Go. I get asked where do I start from, how do I start. So I was thinking of probably doing a video, at least let's a video tutorial for absolute starters, absolute people that know nothing about tech, know nothing about coding, for an example, maybe but they are interested anyway. So now when I get asked, the first place to start from is the documentation. Any language you want to write, try and get to the official page, get the official documentation. From there you can get your hands dirty, and for Golang it is go.dev, right? If you come to the go.dev web page, you can go around the you can read about it, read about the language, um build simple, secure, scalable system with Go, right? You can check the documentation, yeah, just play around it, and you can also see whatever you can try some things here, right? You can see this the you can always see this is if you are running, if you install your VSCode and you need to run Golang, right? This is the format. We will get to this later, right? We'll actually get to this, but you can always try out here, just run Go, wait for their server. Yeah, you can see that. You can even change this to maybe hello world, right? Hello world, you run it. So basically you can get your hands dirty here even without even doing any other thing, right? I think they have different things that you can run here, but that's by the way anyway. So for you to download Go, you can always go to the download to see what they have available. They have for Windows, they have for Mac OS, right? They also have for Linux, but for me, this is my personal preference is Homebrew, right? Homebrew, you can always go to Google, search Homebrew out, right? This is Homebrew. This so Homebrew helps you for Mac most especially. It helps you to install manage your installations, right? Manage whatever you want to install. So for example, now if you're downloading Golang, you might need to set environment part or your Go part. But with Homebrew, I think Homebrew helps you manage that, right? Because I don't think I have that issue with Homebrew. Just install it, and you're good to go. Install Homebrew. So whenever you want to install anything, maybe Golang, Python, Docker, whatever, you have to most times you just do brew install, go brew install, whatever you want to install, right? So how do you get started? Right, like I said, Google. You can see the Homebrew page here. Come to Homebrew. All you have to do is copy this. Install Homebrew is there. Just copy this. Come to let's clear this first, right? Let's first of all clear this. Come to your terminal. This is your terminal. My terminal. Come to your terminal. You can just paste it. Sorry, you can just paste it down here, right? And there you have it. I'm not going to install it because I already have Homebrew on my system, right? I'm not going to install it, but this take a while. So after the Homebrew finish installing, then you can you just do basically you can just do brew install go, or most of these things you can actually get it online. You don't have to cram all these things. So for example, now if you Google how to install Go with Homebrew, you can always see it here. You can see the command here, install command. Just copy it, brew install go. It's the same thing here, brew install go, right? I'm not going to do that because I already have Go installed in my system, right? So for you to after it might take a while, but after you're done installing it, and then you need to check out what version you have, or if Go has been installed. You can always do Go version. Yeah, that's what here you have it here, right? My version here is 1.19. You can have any version depending on what you're doing, right? So now that we have installed Go, we're actually good to go. See what I did there? It's actually a thing. Yeah, good to go. Anyways, so if you're actually serious about going into tech, right, you should by now you would have been familiar with a code editor. For most newbies I know, they like to use VSCode, right? Although I don't really use VSCode that much. I use Golang because I write Golang, so I tend to use Golang. Sorry, not Go. I tend to use Golang. Yeah. So but I noticed that most newbies they prefer VS Code because that's what is readily available. So yeah, this is my VS Code. You might need to install a couple of Golang dependencies, right? So let's start. So yeah, this is my directory. I created a directory here. That's beginner. So I'm going to just, so the first thing to do when you're writing a Golang, when you're writing your code in Go, you need a main.go file, right? A main.go, that is where all your things, all your code run, no matter the amount of your code, no matter what you're writing. If you don't have a func main, that code is not going to run. So basically you need a main.go, right? This is your main.go file. So for every what do you call it, for every code that you're going to write, every directory or every file you're going to write, you're going to create, right? In order to write a code, the file must have like must belong to a package, right? A package name must belong to actually a package. So for a main.go file, it's always package main, right? It's always a package main. You don't have to worry about this now. Probably later we'll probably come into this. It is always a package main, right? So yeah, here we have our package main here, right? So basically you can start writing your function, right? Like I said, for every code to run, you need a func main. So you need a func main, right? Because every code runs in a func main, right? So this is your basic step setup to run hello world, right? So for example, if you're writing any function, any code in another directory, you need to find a way to import it into your package main directory and call it in your func main. That's how most of this that's how that's how your code runs most times. That's how Go just works. You need a func main to run your code. That's it. So now let's write the hello world, right, that we tested the other time. So you can just do fmt dot print line. Yeah, you might need to go through the documentation to know the syntax, right? Print line. So you're familiar with the syntax. Hello world, right? Now I need I need you to also take note that this is a package, right? This FMT is a package. Like I said, you can have multiple packages. You can actually create your package there and import it here and you use it, because whatever you want to use, it must be imported, right? So yeah, you have to see that this package has been imported, right? It has been imported as FMT. So when you're writing it for the first time, take note of the import, right? Mine imports it automatically, but yours you might actually need to specify it, write it import FMT. It works the same way, right? So this is it. Is your FMT print line hello world. So you save this. If you save this, right, and we are good to go. So if you save this and you do go run, yeah, let's clear this, right? Let's clear this. You do go run main.go. Notice that you are in the same directory as your beginner, right? This beginner, that's where your main.go file is. Because normally if you're not in this same directory and you do go run main.go, if it doesn't see this main.go, it's not going to run, right? So take note of the directory that you are in. So you go run main.go. See, we have the hello world here, right? That's congratulations. If you have made this far, you have written your first line of hello world, right? It's as easy as that. So I'm trying to make this as basic as possible, right? Very basic, very simple as possible, right? So I would actually like to point out that when we went to the documentation, right, and you were playing around with it, you can see FMT print line. You can see it's the same thing. Take note of package main import FMT. That is the same thing here. That's the structure, right? So now that you have printed hello world, right, what's next for you? The question is what's next for you. Then you need to understand data types in Go, right? You need to understand data types. So you can like I said, Google is your friend, right? I don't think you need this anymore. So let's just go to data types in Go. So you can always go through different W3 school. It's actually a good platform for it. You can always go to Geek for Geeks. I use them a lot too. So we have, so basically just browse, go through to understand it better, but I'm just going to give you the basic ones you can start working with. So we have so basically let's write a note. If for you to comment, this is for commenting things out, right? So I'll just write data types. I'll write data types here, right? So this is just for commenting things out, right? This is not going to run. This is not part of the code base, so it is not going. It's not going to run. So if you need to make any comments, so this is the syntax you use, right? So data types we have ints, we have numbers, and on we have numbers, right? And then under numbers we have ints, we have float, we have int 32 that just the both numbers floats. We have float 64, float 32, float 64. Lots of them. The floats are decimal point numbers, right? Decimal point numbers. So we also have strings. Strings are used on a normal word. So we have strings, right? E.g. and strings, you write strings in what do you call this, in quotes, yeah, strings in quotes. So you have like yes, you can see this is a string. This is an example of a string here, hello world. So example is hello world, right? That's a string. And then we have boolean. Yeah, we have boolean, which is true or false. So boolean, true or false. So these are the basic ones that we can start with, right? Like you might get familiar with, and then as you use your code, as you get familiar with the code base with Golang, you might add some more to your skill set, like channels. I know we do have channels, so and others. So now let's give you examples of all these things, right? Now, how do you initialize a variable? A variable is more like a container that holds whatever information you want, right? So you can for example, now you need everything, mostly everything needs to be stored in a variable, right? For example, you might have var number, right? Var number is an int. So Golang is actually very strongly typed. Golang is strongly typed. So if you need to write anything, if you need to do anything, you would need to specify the type. So like you say, it's a not, this can only take, so for example, now you're specifying that you only want this container, this like a container, a variable. This you need this variable container to only hold ints. So for example, now you can only initialize this with maybe a 2 or a 3 or a 4. So the point is that you can, once you initialize a variable and say I want this variable to only take ints, that variable can only take ints, and it can't even take a float. Float is something like 0.4. You can see it's going to show you error there. You can't take a float. So if you need it to take a float, you need to make sure that you specify that you want it to take a float. Let's just say float 64, right? You can see float 64. Those are this is a typical example of a float, right? But now we are good with ints, so let's focus with ints, right? This is the number. Now why this is showing an error is that we have not used this variable yet. So in Golang you cannot just initialize something and leave it there without using it. You need to actually use it, right? Or else there's really no point. Golang is Golang is a fast language. So if you try to eliminate any unnecessary code, any useless code that you're not using, so that's why you're seeing that error there. But we are going to use that very soon. So also you can actually use shorthand to actually to actually initialize. For example, now you can always do num, this is just a container. This name, you can actually call this A, B, C, whatever. So this is how you initialize. This is how you declare. Sorry, let us say declare a variable. Sorry, declaring a variable. This is how you declare a variable using shorthand. You can always do this 5. See, it's going to know, like Golang. If you're using a shorthand, it will probably just assume that it's an int that you're trying to that you want to use it for int, right? Like you can see, it gave it an int, yeah, right. So if you do maybe a shorthand for words, like maybe word shorthand, and now do hello, right, it's going to just assume you want to use this for string. But if you need to be more specific, you can just maybe do a var word. You can always do a string, right? But take note that if you are using var, all this, shorthand only takes this. You only use this when you are using shorthand, but it's just equals to this. Okay, so that's how you declare a variable in Golang. You can declare it this way using a var whatever, and when we are declaring this way, just make sure that you specify the type, and then you can always use the shorthand to declare a variable. So now for bool we can just do maybe var bool no, that's, yeah, bool. Yeah, let's change this. This name might actually clash, so just do bool, capital letter. So bool. So you can always do bool since you have already declared it. Now the trick is that since you've already declared this here, right, this saves as a container, so you can always just from here just say bool is equals to true, right, or bool is equals to false. Just know that when it's going to, this bool is equals to false, is going to override this bool is equals to true, right? Because yeah, it runs like this, is going to override it anyway. So now we know at least you should be familiar with at least three types of data in Golang. That's the ints, at least ints, you know, the strings that comes with quotation marks, right? And then we know the bools true and false, easy. So now let's start. Let's leave hello print wall first. Let's start printing all this one after the other, right? You can print number here. Let's print number and also print num. You can also print num. You can see as I use it, it disappears. As I use it, it clears the error. You can also print the word, and you can also print bool, right? So now if you run this code here, go run main.go. Sorry, you need to save it, right? It's still picking up, so that's the thing. You need to just save the code first. Yeah, that's saved. So you run it again, you can see 3 5 hello true. So that's what you're saying here. You're saying 3 initially, you're getting 3 here because number is 3. You're getting 5 here because number here is 5. You're getting word because hello, because the word is hello. You're getting true because this bool here, which is here, is also true. So you can let's just see what happens when you override it to false, right? When you override it to false, save it again and run it. You can see this true is no more true, it's now false, right? So that is the basic that's the basic data types in Go. So you can play around with the basic data type. What do you call it? You can just play around with the basic data types with numbers. Browse through it again. Just create variables, print variables. It's quite easy, right? It's really quite easy. So in my next in our next topic, in our next probably video, we will look at functions, right? But I would actually want you to study data types, get to know what data types, the numerous data types are. There are more than this. These are just the basic ones. And then you might feel free to drop a comment, saying if you're having a tough time doing anything. I'm always here to help. All right, ciao, take care, right?